Sounds like a all-girl punk rock band.
Facehole?
Yeah. Don't Google that.
Well, there was a grunge band called Hole.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's Courtney Love's band.
Yeah.
That one song that everybody knows, and that's it.
Oh.
Celebrity Skin. It's a good song.
Why was she even famous?
Because she murdered Kurt Cobain.
I thought she was married to him.
Both are words that start with M. One of them may or may not be true.
Maybe we should have a poll.
Hey, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 212. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan. We're going to continue the arc within an arc by lumping some bugs. Now hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What is going down?
Whole ton is going down. It is snowing like mad outside, but it's nice and warm in the CCO studio / control room.
Yes.
We got stories to tell, a really cool deck to talk about, some more previews to go over that could possibly go into this deck or decks of its ilk. But before we get to any of that, we have to thank our official sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com, their source for all your gaming needs.
Ooh, very much so. Very much so. I've got my Commander Legends ordered.
Ooh.
Baby. It's coming in the mail.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be at the store soon.
Man, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for opening up foil prismatic vipers.
Oh, man. I don't know, I'm tempered somewhat. I am. I really like this set.
Yep.
I think there's lots going on and there's lots to be excited about.
Yep.
But my excitement is just, you know, I don't know why.
Well, you know what? I was thinking about this a lot lately, where it's like we are in the, I don't want to say the sunset of our Magic playing career, because it's not like we're getting out anytime soon, but it's like we're in middle of summer, you know, that time in between lunch and supper, where it's just like, hey, it's daytime. It's daytime all the time. It's daytime all the time. And it's like, spoiler season does kind of a shitty job of like act or making us feel like we're discovering new things, because it's like, oh, somebody's fucking complaining on Twitter about this card that I like, and now it's like, oh, I'm not even excited about it anymore. You know what I mean? Because somebody brought me down. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do with the Arc of Good Vibes.
Yeah.
And the opposite of what we're doing by lumping bugs in part of our set review kind of
Mini arc. Micro arc. Yeah.
So micro arc, not to be confused with micro bikinis, which are awesome.
Truth.
Yes.
Yeah. And anybody can wear a bikini.
Yes, even micro ones.
Yeah.
I seen Volrath.
Bug, for everybody that everybody knows, is black, blue, and green. They're the three most powerful colors in Magic. There's no real hole in the game plan to fill with new cards. So we're just going to talk about some of the cards here in this deck. And it is a interesting strategy that can really benefit from some of the cards that have been printed in Commander Legends.
That's right. Yeah, I think when I was looking at the deck, I was trying to find ways to say, okay, this is what the black portion of the deck does. Then let's look at black in Commander Legends, kind of some of the jank, hidden gems, weird stuff that we might like. This is what blue does in the deck. Let's look at some weird blue cards in Commander Legends, stuff that you're not going to hear every other set review talk about this week, this month, right? And then the same for green.
You know what I did when I looked at this deck?
What did you do?
I just started cutting colors from it to see if we could just do the exact same deck in monocolor, and you can.
In mono red and play Brash Taunter. That's what I thought you were going to say.
No, that's 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, there will be a deck, and I will say put a Brash Taunter in it. Mono red, if you've got one, send it in. If it doesn't have a Brash Taunter, it will by the end of the show.
That's it. That's funny. We're still getting Brash Taunter lists. We're still getting Brash Taunter lists, Brash Taunter jokes at CCO Podcast, at CCO Brando on Twitter, commandercookout@gmail.com if you want to send us a list. If you're part of the preferred deck list channel on the Discord, it's one of the benefits of becoming a patron. You can send them there. That's where we look sort of first to see decks and just hear some of the chat about the decks, and that's where the Brash Taunter kind of inception came from.
Yeah, Tauntergate.
And there was like 13 decks in that episode. The video version just went live this morning. So get onto YouTube and watch it. If you're not watching us on YouTube or subbed on YouTube, you can get on there. If you want to pick up any of the cards that are in this deck. Had a brain fart there. Pick up any of the cards in the deck, of course. Sponsor FusionGamingOnline.com. You can go there, use CCO Fusion 5, all caps, and then the number 5, 5% off your order.
Singles.
That's right. 5% off your singles. If you pair it with their deal of the week, right, you can get up to like 20% off on stuff.
Ooh.
That's actually good value.
That's not too bad.
That is what I would be doing. I always look for their deal of the week because I'm cheap. I like to buy cards. Yeah. So if you're cheap, you know what cheap in CCO Nation is called? Getting maximum value.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. Yeah.
Got there.
That's true.
Maximum value. And, of course, if you want to be a patron and get your CCO nickname, we've got some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Patreon.com/CCO Podcast.
We appreciate you.
We do. We appreciate you so much. We want to butcher your names and give you pseudonyms that everybody can make fun of you for.
Yeah.
Should we begin?
Let's give them some examples. Yeah.
Okay. We've got an increase. So he's already got a nickname. So this is a good example.
Okay.
This is Tim Rack. He's the Rack.
The Rack.
Tim has a huge, if you will.
Rack, yes.
Yes. Okay, so Tim, thank you. Above and beyond. Oh, and FU also, yeah. And I like how we can just give the finger to the camera now.
Yeah.
You can do that. I'll say FU, so any of the audio listeners are apprised of what's going on.
Yeah, everybody's got to know what's happening, because if there's just some weird pause, nobody can see the ridiculous face that I make or the finger gesture that I give.
The finger blast, if you will.
Yes.
Which sort of ties into our next nickname.
Another benefit of the Discord.
Oh, my favorite benefit. Finger blasting. Okay, speaking of finger blasting, we've got a returning patron.
Oh, that's fun. Went
through some financial hiccups, if you will, come back, support, be part of the nation again.
Super happy that everything's straightened out for them.
Yeah. Cohen Mommerstieg. He was mommy. But now he's back. He's mama's back. Mummy's dark side. Mummy finger blast. He got finger blasted a second time.
Okay, now finger blast mommy too. That is...
I like it.
Now, I don't want to not tell you to Google something or tell you not to Google something, but if there has ever been a time for me to say that, I'm going to say it.
Finger blast mommy 2 back? What was it again?
Finger blast mommy 2?
Yeah.
And it would be the number 2, not as well. And I'm sure that you could probably get it on DVD.
There would be at least 2 fingers.
Yeah, we don't know. And nobody, nope. It's very taboo. And that's not what we're about here at CCO Nation. We are wholesome family entertainment.
That's right. So Cohen Finger Blast Mommy 2 Mommerstieg, welcome, thank you, and of course, FU. Okay, now, those are the warm-ups because we already had nicknames in mind.
Right.
Next up, new patron. Big thank you, FU, to Robert Galantine.
Robert, gallon at a time.
Gallon at a time.
Could be beer, could be something else. We don't know, we don't judge.
I hope that it's beer.
Beer is good.
Robert Gallon at a time. Okay, last nickname. Big shout out, FU, thank you, to Grim J. That's GJ for short. I don't know what a GJ is, but if it's anything functionally or closely akin to a BJ, a YJ, a HJ, a ZJ.
We can't afford it.
I mean, we can't afford it. You got the reference.
Okay. Dude, you think you're going to make a movie reference that I'm not going to get? What the hell?
GJ. I don't know what that is, but if we Urban Dick that.
Is his first name Grim? Or did he give himself a name?
He gave himself a name. He's Grim J.
What is Grim about?
I don't know, but you got to give him a real name.
Paul Henderson?
Paul Henderson J.
That's a hockey player, I think.
That's PHJ. That is probably something that we shouldn't Google. PHJ, welcome. Oh, man. It's great to have all the new patrons. It's great to have all of the returning patrons, all the existing patrons. We do appreciate it very much. And it's a great place to be in the nation.
I like to think so.
I was just thinking on the way in, I seen a comment come up and I stopped like kind of before I turned off onto the highway. And it was like, somebody said something about, can you fit that many episodes? Can you do that many Brash Taunters? Is Brash Taunter that good? It was some comment on a YouTube, right? And I was like, you must be new here. It's like, man, everybody in the nation gives us such good comments, good feedback, and it's so good to talk to everybody and interact. And especially now that I'm playing more with you online and like streaming games on Zoom and Whereby and stuff, my Magic. Everything is reinvigorated.
Yes.
Yes.
You can play again.
Yes, my Magic has lasted more than 3 hours.
You should call the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor fucking... I was going to say something, but no.
Wholesome family entertainment, Ryan.
Yep.
Wholesome family entertainment.
You have some wholesome family entertainment for us before we get to the deck list. We haven't even said who the commander is.
Oh, we will.
Fuck them.
Fuck it after I tell these stories. So speaking of the nation, how it's a great place to be, I have had this last week off, the past 5 days.
Yep.
And I said last week, if anybody wants to play a game, get a game in with me, I'm free.
Yep.
Get a hold of me. Few people did. I have played lots of good games. I want to highlight one in particular that I played on Thursday with a dude named John Michael and Fred with a PH. And I think Cameron was the other name. I wrote down all the guys' names because I can't remember anybody's
Fred
name.
with PH. Oh, fuck it.
And I didn't bring it, so I
That
might be
sounds
wrong.
like a nickname we would give.
And not only we had some fucking kick-ass games with some fucking cool-ass dudes, all of them live in different states. And they all live in, like, different places. And one of them lives in a dry county, which I didn't know existed.
Yes.
He has to drive 40 minutes to buy beer, one way.
Oh, I was going to say, well, I kind of have to do that.
Like 40 minutes from his house, he buys the beer, and then he drives 40 minutes back to his house.
Where does he live? Like Utah?
South Carolina?
What?
Like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's where they make whiskey. Maybe that's why. They make too much.
Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Also, I learned that there are Walmarts down in the States that in the automotive department, you can buy the car.
No way.
Didn't know that.
I don't know if I'd buy a car from Walmart. Let's maybe stick to a dealership.
Probably.
Yep.
But I didn't know they had, like, knockoff brand cars. I didn't know that.
Knockoff brand cars.
But now it's like Moyota. Moyota.
Wallota.
Tonda.
No, Wanda. Wanda.
Also, and this was the one that this blew my mind because we live in Canada, we live in Saskatchewan, we live in, like, I would say the most, I'm going to say gun crazy part of the country, right? Like, everybody here is a hunter, they all have guns.
Yeah.
Very common, but you don't really see them that often because
We're not America. People keep them locked up and shit.
they're real highly regulated. They're in safes, they're in boxes. You can't show them. Like, it's a big deal.
We don't whip them out on the freeway if we get in a fender bender and fucking kill the person who hit us. I don't know. It's just us. Maybe it's just fucking us. Maybe we're doing it wrong.
And for some reason, we got to talking about that during the game.
Okay.
And one of the guys I'm playing with just like, here, check this out. And he just like whipped out his gun.
Just whipped his fucking hammer out.
And it's like, holy shit.
He got guns.
Wow. And
He
he's
got
like,
guns and shit.
And he's like, look at this. This is how gun crazy we are in the States. And he like pulls the clip out because it's a loaded gun that he just had with him. And the bullets were shaped like little crayons. No shit. And they were colored and everything. And I was like, wow. Wow. It's
Why the fuck would you want to shoot somebody with fucking...
with a
like,
Crayola crayon?
Royal
Why not?
blue.
Why not? Ryan, if you
I'll give you the fucking blues.
purple dirt, motherfucker. Like, it was awesome though.
Oh,
It was so cool. Like, it was like being on another planet with these dudes. I was playing fucking kick-ass Magic games. We played an Omnath game where everybody played Omnath.
Oh, yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
That sounds like next gate. Omgate.
There's 3 different Omnaths.
Nice.
We didn't have the Animar colored one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fucking play Animar.
You know what happened in that game?
You...
Lotus Cobra, Perilous Foyers, sacked a land.
Ooh.
I bolted a guy 21 times for the cost of 1 mana.
Oh, I love a good 21 bolts. I won a game with doubling a bolt to fucking deal Xaxes. Oh, no, it wasn't doubled. I doubled a Chandra's Ignition on Lenny.
Double to Chandra's. Did you have to, or did you just do it?
No, I did because he had 2 treasures and gained 6 life, and I was like, fuck, that puts him right to 3. And then I just had a bolt in my hand. I was like, fucking bolt, held it up to the camera like this. He's like, oh, fuck. All right.
Second story, real
Okay.
quick. This is a fast one. I just wanted to set. We always are talking about FusionGamingOnline.com, source for all your gaming needs.
They're 7 out of 10 at least.
Very medium. The other part of the game, if you need to procure anything,
Yes.
is your local game store.
That's
very
right.
important to support those. They're your brick and mortar stores. They're your community hub. They're where you go to play your games probably when things get back to normal.
Yep.
It's important that we support those people as well.
And you know what? Just to stay on Fusion real quick, is they are a local game store, and we have been there, and they look like, this is what I say, they look like a local game store. They got stuff all over the walls and shelves and games and fucking shit everywhere, but it's like cleaner than lots of local game stores. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So shout out.
So, and I just wanted to send I was trying to get my hands on a Commander Collection green foil edition.
Yes.
Trying to get my hands on one. Nowhere locally has them. They're sold out at my normal online haunts. Couldn't find one anywhere. But my local game store in my heart, out in Edmonton, you know them well as well. They're called Taps for Effect Games.
Yep.
They don't ship or anything, but they're just a local game store. They had them. And I called the guy up. I was like, yo, man, I'm in there all the time. I'm with Commander Cookout Podcast. I really want this. Like, is there any
that's
way?
why you're asking if anybody's going to Edmonton.
Is there any chance you can get me one? He's like, oh yeah, I've heard of you guys, and I remember you coming into the store. Yeah, I'll send you one, no problem. And that's like fucking local dudes who you forge a relationship with, and because you have that relationship, they go out of their way to help you out. And that's the kind of thing you get at a local game store, and it's important why you go out and you support those people, because they're the guys that are going to go that extra mile for you to make sure that you get to play the game that we all love. And so big shout out to them helping me out, and big shout out to all the people who are supporting and running the local game stores, keeping our community as vibrant and as awesome as it possibly can be.
Word to that. You know that Fusion's getting Commander Green, right?
Not they were out of foil ones.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted a foil one.
I bought them already. Just kidding. I didn't.
Who's the commander, Ryan?
Commandy. We're 16 minutes in. Commandy time?
Sure.
Volrath, the Shape Stealer. So if you said that, your name's entered in to win the fucking stinky old onion bag pack.
Is he the 7/5 shapeshifter for green, black, blue 2? That at the beginning of combat on your turn you put a -1/-1 counter on up to one target creature, and then for 1 until your next turn he becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it, except it has that ability and is a 7/5?
Yes. I was going to make a joke about like being the mono black one, but we're already too far in to get a good set review for these 3 fucking colors.
Should we do a deck?
We should do a deck real quick, and what we're going to do is highlight the best things in the deck that are the 3 colors that Volrath is. We're going to take a look and see if black gets any help in the enchantment destruction category.
It happened in Zendikar.
It happened in Zendikar. Or what I was thinking is, did we get any help for that mass discard deck? That's one of the things in the set review proper that I'm going to be looking for to see if mass discard becomes a thing in Commander.
Because everybody loves playing as mass discard.
I'm just saying.
I've learned that from my discard deck. How much people love that.
Yeah, we kind of did get Tiny Bones, but I'm waiting on something that isn't Tiny Bones because it's like $100. That is the control kind of discard deck. So we'll see if we got any help today.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. In the interest of brevity, we are going to start with some clumps to get a bunch of the deck out of the way, because lots of people knows what this sort of stuff does, and then we're going to get into what this deck does, then how Commander Legends could help it out.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start with ramp.
12 ramp cards.
And they are Urban Burgeoning, Song of Freyalise, Sol Ring, Simic Signet, New Horizons, Market Festival, Gyre Engineer, Gift of Paradise, Dimir Signet, Commander Sphere, Chromatic Lantern, and Arcane Signet.
What is Gyre Engineer?
Gyre Engineer is a mana dork that taps for blue-green, costs blue-green 1, and is a 1/1.
Oh. I was hoping that it was going to be something more exciting.
Nope.
So we've got like Market Festival, Gift of Paradise. Those are enchant lands that give you extra mana when they are tapped, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I play those, and Urban Burgeoning is kind of the same.
Urban Burgeoning untaps the land on each untap step.
Yeah, I play that kind of stuff in my land, make lots of mana Enchantress deck.
I put that on my Gaia's Cradle so that I can play Sprout Swarm a whole bunch of times every turn.
Yeah, I love a good Sprout Swarm.
I like to use this 25-cent enchantment on my $700 land so that I can enable my 10-cent common.
Welcome to CCO Nation.
All right.
This has been your public service announcement on playing Jank.
So we've got some ways to protect your game plan.
Sure, these are counter spells, shroud enablers, the rapid hybridization, pongify, naturalize, God Pharaoh's Gift. Give that one a read.
That's an artifact for 7 at the beginning of combat. On your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie with haste.
Okay.
Until end of turn.
And then we've got Exclude, that like bounces or counters a creature. Counters a creature, draws a card. Deep Freeze makes a 0/4. And then Arcane Denial, which is a counter spell. So I want to highlight 2 themes thus far. We've looked at 2 categories. We've got sort of 2 themes. We've got Ramp in green. Who'da thunk? We've got Protection Denial in blue. Okay.
Sure.
We're going to look... Normally, we would look to the new set to say, hey, are we getting any treats for this deck? Remember, when we look to the new set, Commander Legends today, we're going to be looking for stuff that's outside of those 2 categories specifically. Things that are unique, things that are, I say jank, but what I mean is kind of interesting, unique, weird themes, right?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about some things that draw cards.
Sure.
Because everybody likes drawing cards.
And we're in the 3 card draw colors. So everything I just said, also true of card draw.
Yes. We've got Underrealm Lich.
That doesn't technically draw cards, but it put cards into your hand, but it's like still really fucking good.
It put cards into your hand and then 2 more cards into your other hand, which is your graveyard.
Yeah.
We have a Thought Sponge.
Sure.
We have a Tezzeret's Gambit.
Draws cards, proliferates.
Rashmi, Eternity's Crafter.
That's like a Cascader.
Shitty Cascade. Colossal Majesty. That's already been outclassed. That should probably be a Garrick's.
Let's draw a card for
Something.
creature 4
Yeah.
or bigger. Okay.
No, the Garrick one costs the same, does the same thing, but it gives your creatures trample, and it draws you a card when it comes into play. So
Dang.
just cut that immediately. We have a Cold-Eyed Selkie.
Draws a card when it hits you.
Also very good with Volrath. Broodbirth Viper.
That's Myriad. Draw a card when it hits you.
Yep. It's a 3/3 for 5.
Fuck, did I get there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Very good. And a Butt Tracker.
A butt tracker. That sounds like it is draw a cardy.
You pay 2 life and a black to put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then when it leaves play, you get a card for each +1/+1 counter that was on it.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
very cool.
Okay.
So we're looking for counters on cards, specifically I think it's your own cards,
So
right?
Blood Tracker would do that.
Yes, you could turn Volrath into a Butt Tracker.
And then if Volrath would die, you would let him die, then put him in the zone, and you'd get that death trigger now.
Yeah, you get the 1 counter.
That doesn't seem very good. Let's look at the actual Volrath targets, because these are going to be the juicy things, and these are going to be the things that maybe Commander Legends' unique, interesting cards in these colors would contribute to this deck.
Yes.
Oh, hey, we didn't say who the dex was. This is Morgan the Stick. This is Morgan Sticky Batten.
So Morgan's Sticky Batter.
Sure.
Gross.
Patreon submission. Thank you very much for contributing both through the Patreon page and also with your deck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, keeping in mind, Volrath can count, or
God damn, I hate when I fucking forget.
We always forget.
I know.
That's my life. That's how I live my life. He also copies your opponent's shit, so that's important to note.
If they have counters on them.
And Volrath also puts counters on things.
Okay.
So these aren't the only things that Volrath could become, but they are fucking good. So let's get in here. We got a Windwend the Biting Gale. Not a Volrath target because it's legendary.
Yeah, but doesn't Volrath keep his name?
No.
What?
It becomes a copy of the creature.
Oh, but it keeps his ability.
Yeah, it keeps the
I
ability.
always forget that. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. When you could pay 1 life and Dimir and bounce her to your hand.
Yep.
Okay, so you would want to make Volrath a copy of Widwin and have the original one die, and then you can bounce the Volrath to your hand to save it.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ukima Stalking Shadow.
Oh, this is a partner? Do we play the other one?
We do.
We do. So we could find them both because they got partner with Kazir Ruthless Stalker?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah, enters a battlefield, it deals X, or when it dies, it deals X, where X is its power, right?
X damage to each player, or to target player. You gain X life, where X is its power. So you can turn Volrath into that, and now it's immediately 7.
7.
It's pretty good.
That's good. And is it a die or leave the battlefield? Leave the battlefield, so you could turn it into a Kima, and then you could, how does it work? You Oh, you turn it into Widwin and bounce it, but bounce on the stack, you turn it into Akima, and then it'll leave the battlefield as Akima. You can double trigger it like that.
That's true.
Yeah, okay.
Also of note, Ukima is unblockable, so now you have a 7/7 unblockable.
Fuck, somebody's taking 14 then.
It's also pretty good. We got a Trigon Predator.
All right, when it ETBs, it kills a thing.
When it deals combat damage.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's
a flyer that hits something, kills a thing.
Oh, turn it into Akima, attack, make it to Trigon Predator, make it a Widwin to bounce it, make it Akima again. Fucking take 7 more. Got there.
Tree of Perdition.
Tree of Perdition. You could set somebody's life total to 13. Okay, I got this. I got this. Turn Volrath into Tree of Perdition. Set somebody's life total to 13. Okay? Turn it into Okima, make it unblockable. Take 7. Turn it into Trigon Predator, kill their enchantment, turn it into Widwin, bounce it, turn it into Okima. It'll leave the battlefield, take 7 more, kill them.
Jesus.
I could go all day, baby.
But of course, it'll be tapped before it attacked, because you have to tap it as Tree of Perdition. So you'd have to give it vigilance, and then do all that shit that you just said during the attack step.
All right, well, we'll watch for vigilance then. Or an untapper. Maybe we're playing fucking Umbral Mantle or some shit.
How about Splitting Slime?
I don't know what this does, but it fits into the ooze stuff that we're going to inevitably talk about in Commander Legends.
It's a 3/3 for green 3, monstrosity 3 for green 4. When it becomes monstrous, you put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of it. So you make it monstrous, you get another one. You can make the copy monstrous to get another one. You can make the copy monstrous to get another one.
And they're always Volraths, so when you get a copy of it, it'll die. That's when you turn the copy into an Okima.
I'm not sure what because your copy in Volrath.
Actually, you can't turn the copy into Akima because state-based effects would just kill it. Never mind. Don't correct me. I got it. I don't know.
But I mean, you can just make Volrath. Like, you make 7/4 splitting slimes with it. You're not making Volraths anymore, I don't think. Are you? No, that'd still be legendary.
I have no fucking idea anymore.
No, it wouldn't be, because it's not Volrath anymore. It's a splitting slime that's a 7/4. So you can just keep making Volraths, and they turn into 10 7s.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one. Sage of Hours.
That's an extra turn spell. You can probably combo with this, right?
Probably.
Plus, it's whenever you cast a spell, it gets a +1, then you can remove +1s to take extra turn, right?
Now you have to target it with a spell.
Oh. Or an ability, right?
No.
Whenever you cast a spell that targets Sage of Hours?
Yeah.
Maybe we're playing pump spells and stuff to make Volrath that and then to target it.
Or you got to use Splitting Slime and some other creatures we're going to talk about. Maybe a Forgotten Ancient.
Oh,
to just give it a bunch of counters, then take a bunch of extra turns.
Okay, that'll work.
Or maybe you're going to turn Volrath into a Ravenous Slime, like this one.
Is that something to do with counters again, right?
Green 2 for a 1/1, can't be blocked by creatures power 2 or less, so it's got some cool evasion. And if a creature an opponent controls would eat shit, you exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard, and you put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that creature's power onto Ravenous Slime. Or in this case, Volrath.
Okay.
Illusory Ambusher is next.
When it's dealt damage, draw that many cards, right?
Yep. Hydra Omnivore.
When it deals combat damage to one player, it deals to everybody.
Yeah.
That's good with Akima, that Akima bounce thing. When everybody's taken Volrath attack and then Akima bounce, and then you can play it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hero's Bane.
Ooh, that's a +1 thing. Pay 4, you double the +1s?
Yeah. Well, you put X counters on it where X is its power. So you turn Volrath into that, tap 4, and now Volrath is a 14.
Oh,
14/11.
Yeah, and then you could do it again, then you're online for one-shot commander kill.
Or you could take a bunch of counters off after you turn them into a Sage of Hours and take an extra turn, and then just win. Yeah. We have a Forgotten Ancient. We talked about him. We talk about him lots.
Yeah, whenever anybody casts a spell, put a +1, then during your upkeep of maybe your fucking extra turn, you can move any counters from him onto whatever you want.
Neat.
Maybe your Volrath Sage of Hours mutate pile.
Fertilid.
Remove a +1, get a land?
Yes. Cryptic Trilobite.
What in the fuck? This card... Oh, I was going to say, this card's expensive, isn't it?
No.
It used to be.
I don't know why.
XX enters the battlefield with X +1s. You can remove a +1 to add colorless. Okay. You could pay 1, tap, put a +1 on Cryptic Trilobite. So you can put a counter on it, and then Volrath can become it, and then sure.
Yeah, I don't,
Can you remove counters to make colorless?
you can only use to activate abilities. So you could use it to activate Volrath's ability to like turn him into a bunch of different stuff.
That works.
But
I can see it.
we got Chasm Skulker.
Oh, baby. +1 whenever we draw a card.
Yep.
When it dies, we get a squid for each +1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. Make Volrath into that, and then copy it a bunch of times with that fucking mutate guy or that monstrous guy, and then have them all die because of legend rule if that's what happens. And then you get a whole bunch of stuff.
Banshee of the Dread Choir.
What the fuck?
That's another Myriad card. Black 3 for a 4/4. Whenever Banshee of the Dread Choir deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. So there's your mass discard shit.
Hey, yeah, let's see if we get any more of that. Fuck, we got there. Full circle, baby. Okay, so we've got an idea. We're ramping. We're stopping our opponents from doing stuff because Volrath and his shenaniganery, if you will, is kind of mana intensive, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a counter synergy thing where we're putting counters on stuff. We're gonna kind of clump this, and if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of the cards on the screen. Makes it a little bit easier to follow.
Okay, we got Kazur Ruthless Stalker. That's the guy that partners with Ukima, so one finds the other. He is a 3/3 for 4. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature.
Yeah, so he cares about counters. I think that's maybe better than clumping, is we just say what kind of counter or where it goes, right? Because that's what Volrath cares about.
Yes.
Okay.
He cares about a counter on a thing. Combine Guildmage.
+1 on a creature we control.
Generous Patron.
+1 when it ETBs on 2 creatures of your choice. Any 2. That's a good card. I played in Animar.
Nest of Scarabs.
Whenever you put a -1 on something, you get a black insect.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Volrath will put a -1 and then we get a bug, maybe like a chug blocker.
And then you can turn Volrath into a bug.
Yeah, I don't know if we would do that, but
Obelisk Spider.
that's a -1 on whatever we want, right?
Primal Empathy.
That's a +1, and is there another kind of counter it puts on? That's from Ikoria.
It's a card draw if you have the biggest dude. And if you don't have the biggest dude, it gets you closer to the biggest dude.
Oh, yeah. So we're still putting a counter if we don't have the biggest dude. Yeah.
Progenitor Mimic.
Oh, that copies a thing each upkeep. That's like a clone each upkeep, right?
Yes. Very
Yeah.
good. Skeleton Ship.
Hey, fuck yeah. That puts -1 counter all the way back from Ice Age. Shout out to Amy Weber. Did the art on that.
Tetsamok, Primal Death. I like this one.
That puts a prey counter on a creature.
Shit, yeah. by revealing it from your hand.
Yeah, you don't even need to spend a card.
Willbreaker's the last one. I'm happy this is here.
Oh, whenever a creature an opponent controls is the target of a spell or ability, you gain control of the creature, right?
Yeah, so when you go to use Volrath to put a -1/-1 on something, instead of putting a -1/-1 counter on it, you put a -1/-1 counter on it and then just get it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool. I like that a lot.
Sweet. So we're stealing, we're copying, we're doing the card draw in black and green and blue. We're doing some controlling. We've got a little bit of a combat boost section, like a Chariot to Victory.
We played that last week.
We did.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
We didn't even mean to. It does a whole bunch of stuff. There's like a Phyresis, right? And a Tainted Strike. Those are infect. So as soon as you can make Volrath a little bit bigger than 7, or if you make Volrath a copy of something with 10 power or 9 power, you just win the game.
We got a Kaisto Orochi Archmage. It makes him unblockable. And if he happens to be a snake, also, it gets +2/+2.
Sure.
There's a Skewering Spy. That's got Adapt. Creatures you control with a +1/+1 counter on them have flying.
That's a Skatewing Spy for anybody who's trying to look that card up.
What did I say?
Skewering.
Skewering Spy. I like that one better.
Sure.
Skewering. You'd give him first strike, though, probably.
Yeah.
And then we have a Trollbred Guardian. That's another one of those Adapt creatures, so you can put counters on it. And then each creature you control with a +1/+1 has Trample.
Oh, and we're going to have lots of +1s.
That's one of the sub-themes of the deck is +1s on Volrath or on other stuff to then make Volrath into that stuff.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is last week we reviewed White, and White in Commander Legends kind of had a +1 or a I guess, a +1/+1 sub-theme, sort of, right?
And here we are playing no white, and we're still playing a +1/+1 sub-theme.
Well,
It's almost like other creatures take things that other cards do and just
Yeah,
do
it's
them
like
better.
green can just fucking do everything because Wizards doesn't give a shit about the color pie as long as the card's green.
Yeah.
When are they going to get the hint? I think that's one of the overarching kind of messages that people are going to hear from creators when they review Commander Legends. Like we've been saying over the last year, green can do everything. Green does everything. Green does everything. The overarching message is, or should be, when the fuck are they going to realize that green can do everything? We've got all the tools that we need. I understand that it takes time, and that's what we're going to talk about in the set review, but, like, green's good. Green's good.
But you know why green is... You know why, right? You
Why?
know that's a Hasbro marketing tool. You know that.
Well,
Because-
I think that's a little bit conspiracy theory.
This is... Let me hit you with it. Just
Okay.
Go fast. What's the thing that people like when they first start playing Magic?
Oh, big creatures,
Great-
big swingy things.
Great big swingy things. Where do you find...
Big numbers printed on cards.
Where do you find that?
Lots of times in green.
Now, what's going to be the most discouraging thing to a new player that's got their great, big, beefy green creatures, and they're playing, and they're new, and they run up against somebody who's been playing for a little bit longer than them. Maybe they're playing blue, black.
White, and they fucking swords it.
Exactly. So now your creatures just get wrecked.
Mind
and
you,
maybe,
they did put swords in the precons.
and maybe now a couple of those new players, instead of getting, well, I'll just try to play different cards, they get discouraged and they leave. So they make green super powerful so that when the newbie comes in, they have access to some of the most powerful stuff, and it ingrains them a little more because their decks are good. And then instead of having them getting just fucked up by a Path to Exile be the reason that they rage buy another color and try again, now their decks are awesome and they get bored of playing green, so they try and do something else. That's why green is so good. It's to hook new players and hold them in the game rather than get them frustrated out.
That is a good theory.
Boom. So that's the deck.
That is the deck. We went fast. Hopefully it's easy to follow. If you can't follow, you can check it out on YouTube because all the cards, they flash and they fucking go all fast in your face like that, and you can see the whole deck.
Yeah, or you could check out the show notes below for the deck list.
Yes.
Just take a look at it.
Yeah, wherever you get the show. Of course, show notes are going to include the deck list, or if you're on the Patreon Discord, you can talk to Morgan Sticky fucking Batten.
You just talk to him yourself and be like, yo, what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's right.
Why are you doing this?
That's right. Okay, so on to Commander Legends, and again, we're gonna, the overarching themes, the feelings of the set, those are gonna be saved for the set review and the video portion of our set review, where we're revisiting some of the returning mechanics and possibly calling each other idiots and drinking.
I don't know. I think we were pretty on point, man.
Yes, very much.
We
so.
were very close. We were very
close.
smart. Anybody that thinks that we don't know what we're talking about because we're filthy casuals.
And Canadians and drunk.
Yeah. And all of those things are true.
Yeah.
But we're not too bad at this, Ryan.
Well, that's it.
I was getting my butthole was clenching pretty tight about that Sol ring.
Oh, I know.
But DJ came through for us.
Yeah, he came through. Yeah. Fucking cool. On a technicality, right? Because it's in the pre-con. Still counts.
Does.
So overarching themes, that's going to be its own episode, right? Legendary creatures, because there's 1,000 of them, is going to be its own episode.
Yep.
Today, jank stuff that we think could bolster a unique build like we've got in front of us today.
Yeah.
Do you have a first card? In blue.
In blue? Yes.
What is it?
Amphin Mutineer?
The first blue
The
card?
very first blue card. And I super like it because it's a pirate, which I don't really care. I don't really like pirates that much. But it's a 3/3 for blue 3. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to one target non-salamander creature. That creature's controller creates a 4/3 salamander warrior creature token.
And it is a salamander itself.
And it is a salamander in and of itself. It has Encore as well, so you can bring it back. You get a copy for each opponent.
yeah,
and
we'll talk about that in one of the set reviews or the video where we're looking at abilities.
yeah, we'll get to Encore, but I just think that's a cool-ass creature. Maybe it's not the best Volrath target, but it's worth playing in the deck. It also takes the legendary clause off of Volrath and lets you beat in.
Yep.
And gives you some recursive removal afterwards.
I like it.
I think that's a cool-ass card.
It gives them... You remove their biggest thing and you give them a 4/3,
Yeah.
or you remove your smallest thing, like one of your nest of scarab bugs, you make it a 4/3.
Yeah.
Or you make them all 4/3s if you have like 3 of them or 4 of them when you encore this.
Yeah.
Cool.
You do all kinds of neat stuff with that. What do you got, Ryan?
Forced Denial. And I'm not sure if this just has the word forced in it because it's a counterspell and they want to put like force and I'm fucking smarter than you.
Oh, Forceful Denial.
Forceful Denial. What did I say?
Forced Denial.
Forced Denial. Forceful Denial. Blue 3 instant. Counter target spell. Cascade. Yeah, it's a 5-mana counterspell, but you're going to get something out of it.
It's a counterspell with an upside.
It's a counterspell with an upside. I think, I wanted to highlight it. I think it might be a trap unless it's like your only fucking counterspell in your deck. Mind you, you could cascade into a second counterspell and use that counterspell to target the spell you're countering, which is...
Why would you do that?
Well, because you can't just like counter... Like if you cascade into... I guess you don't have to cast it. Fuck this card. Hull Breacher. Do we want to talk about that? Do you want me to talk you off the ledge of this should be white, or are we just going to move on because everybody else is talking about it?
Oh, I didn't think it should be white. I think it's fine as blue. I don't know. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a color. Because fuck all that color pie shit. It doesn't exist. It's a lie, just like the reserve list. I think that Hull Breacher's a fine card.
Because green?
Yeah. I think that Hull Breacher's a fine card. I don't know if it goes in this deck.
I don't think it does.
Obviously, it can go in any deck, but I don't think it goes in this deck specifically. But I think that Hull Breacher is really cool. I think that lots of people can and should play it.
Yep.
And I have no issue with this card being blue and not white. Sure, it could be white, but it's not, and that's fine.
Do you think it goes in Legacy decks instead of Narset? Who can say?
It could.
I've got one.
Okay, what do you got?
I've got one. Again, not one necessarily for this deck, but one I wanted to talk about.
Is it Mana Drain?
That's a good card. That's a good-ass card.
Spoiler, Mana Drain's in the set. Let's just keep going.
This is Laboratory Drudge.
The 3/4 for 4 that at the beginning of each end step, you draw a card if you cast a spell from your graveyard or activated the ability of a card in a graveyard this turn?
Yes.
Ooh.
Now, I've been on record saying that if you're going to do zombies, mono black zombie or bust, right?
Yes.
Zombies are, in my mind, a black deck.
Yes.
This one, blue, don't care. Gonna put it in a deck, maybe, what's his name, Savine the Chronoclasm? Maybe a 5-color deck that I'm just doing graveyard stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid card. Not good in this deck, because we're not doing graveyard stuff, really.
What about Sakashima's Protege in this deck? In the maybe board of the deck, we didn't say, but there is like a Spark Double and some clone type maybes. This could fit in. Give it a read.
It's a 3/1 for blue 4 with Flash and Cascade.
Okay.
You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of target permanent that entered a battlefield this turn. So it's like a counter spell that isn't a counter spell. It's like, oh, you got a cool thing? I will also get that cool thing.
Yeah, and if Volrath has maybe died 1, 2, 3 times, and you don't necessarily have the mana to cast him and then make him something else, you could flash this in. You know, you're fronting up your Arcane Denial mana, removal mana, right? And then nobody does anything that's really bad. You just go, boom, Sakashima's Protege, and you get some benefit and then some added benefit from Cascade. It's got Flash. What the fuck?
You know how much I love clones?
Yes.
But I don't know. I'm soft on this one.
You're soft?
I'm soft on it. You know why?
You could Cascade into another clone.
But you probably won't.
In your clone deck, you would?
Well, my clone deck, I definitely would.
Does this go in Brutaclad Petitioners?
No.
That's a good one.
It costs 6. And I don't want their stupid shit. I want my shit.
Well,
and that means it costs even more because I have to play more shit on my turn.
Put your 7 dwarves onto the battlefield, cast your Sakashima, cascade into another 7 dwarves. You've got 3 extra 7 dwarves. Not terrible.
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
I will agree, maybe not the best. Sakashima's Will, however, does go in your 7 dwarves deck. And we're going to talk about this card extensively because it's a lieutenant spell. And if anybody checked out our Returning Mechanics video on YouTube, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Choose one. If you control a commander, choose both. And this is a sorcery for blue 3. Target opponent chooses a creature they control. You gain control of it. Fine, that's great. We get the shittiest thing. Unless they have like one thing, then we get the best thing.
Yes.
Great. If we copy their creature with Volrath, and it's their only creature, then we get a Volrath and their thing, which helps us break the commander rule of there can only be one, right? The other option is choose a creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. You just make them fucking all Ukimas and they all die. Your opponents die. This goes in today's deck. This goes in Seven Dwarves deck because all of your creatures all become Seven Dwarves and then they all just pound in for like 50 damage.
Now let me hit you with this.
Okay.
Let me hit you with it, Ryan. My deck already does that. I don't need to cast a spell to do that.
Make them all Brash Taunters.
Yeah, now we're talking. But here's the... You can't
Make them all Brash Taunters. Tap them. Ability on the stack to deal damage to each other. To deal damage to your opponent. Make them all into Seven Dwarves in response. So by the time all the damage is done, they all deal damage to your opponents when they're huge.
But then they're not Brash Taunters anymore. Then they're just dead. Because they start killing each other.
Well, if your opponents are all dead.
But they're not.
Why not?
Because the Seven Dwarves isn't indestructible and isn't a Brash Taunter. All they do then would do 100 damage to each other and they would just die.
Still funny.
It is funny. But also Sakashima's Will would turn Brutaclad into a Seven Dwarf and then all of my Seven Dwarfs wouldn't have haste.
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Man, I'm trying to next level you.
The whole set's a trap.
You and Morgan Batten, I'm trying to give you something. Okay. Have we seen enough blue?
Yep.
So we saw some removal in the deck. I've got my ears and eyes open for enchantment removal, mass discard. I want to make that black-based control deck that's discarding maybe like Spectre Tribal or something like that.
Shit, yeah.
I don't think we're going to see a ton of it, but I do want to highlight the first card I want to highlight today, Feast of Succession. That is a Seb McKinnon art piece that I do actually enjoy looking at. That's a good one, hey?
I agree. That's solid. It reminds me of the Alice in Wonderland game for Xbox 360/PS3. If you played it, good. If you haven't, you should. But it just reminds me of that game where it's kind of dark and eerie and kind of vaguely prophetic.
Look at the king's robe is the same as the knight's tunics, and look at a hand stealing his crown. Fuck, you even notice that? It's pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Look at that poisonous pig. They ate it and drank all the poison pig juice.
Now they did.
They fucking drank the pig gravy. Do pigs make gravy?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, there's pork.
We should read the card.
Virtually anything.
Black 4 sorcery. All creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. You become the monarch. So introduces monarch. I got to make a custom plane, hey, for the next time we plane chase. That when you planeswalk to, it would maybe be where
the not battle bond.
The conspiracy plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, you become the monarch.
That's cool.
Yeah, roll the shit. You become fucking double monarch or some shit, right? You become the monarch twice.
Oh, dude, can you imagine if you added another monarch token to the game?
Yes, you get 2 monarchs.
And they just I guess you couldn't really pass them around because they'd eventually just get collected.
Well,
into one place.
It might be like secondary monarch card. You can't hold both monarch cards at the same time. So if you're the monarch, it's like the king and queen. You can't be both the king and the queen at the same time.
Says you.
So very cool card. Very cool card. There's a lot of elf like Lorwyn elf throwbacks in the set.
Well, they're eye blights too, which is like they say eye blight on them, which is a Shadowmoor thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So I don't know if these are actually from.
Maybe this is
it's one of those everywhere
a future site type thing where it's like, hey, we're going back to Lorwyn Shadowmoor in the future, just so you know. How about Necrotic Hex? Give that bad boy a read.
Each player sacks X creatures. You create 6 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. I like it over Hex because it doesn't say exactly 6.
Yeah, each player sacrifices 6 creatures.
Yeah, so it's a sweeper, I suppose.
It is a sweeper. It costs 7 though. Which is both kind of off the 6/6/6 kind of theme and also very much mana.
Yeah. But I mean, that's pretty typical for black. Sans Damnation, really. A lot of their sweepers cost a bunch.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
And also we're playing green in this deck, so that doesn't really matter. I might as well say fucking 2.
Or 15.
And we're playing black in this deck, so it might as well just say 2.
Or 15.
Yeah.
I like this with the Nest of Scarabs in the deck. I like that very much. I like whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, that player loses a life, and we put a +1 counter on Nightshade Harvester.
I like that too. That'd be a great thing to turn Volrath into.
And clone a bunch of times.
Because you're landfalling, you're draining, you're getting bigger dudes.
Yeah.
I like Nightshade Harvester lots in this deck specifically.
They're ramping, they're landfalling. We're getting counters on Nightshade. We can turn Volrath, then clone it a bunch, or turn Volrath, like turn all our creatures into Nightshade with Sakashima's Will or whatever, and then they play one land and they just like take 10 damage. And then all our guys get big and we just crash in. Then we turn them all into Akimas. Fuck yeah.
Kill them all, yeah.
Yeah, because they all got +1s on them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do like that one.
So what's the letter that comes after N in the alphabet, Ryan?
O?
Is there anything good in black at O?
No, but after that, there's P for Phyrexian Rager.
There it is. P Rage.
I love a good P Rage. Especially in the morning where you have to like kind of half bend over. Oh, we're talking about different things again.
I like Rakshasa Debaser in this deck.
What the fuck? Is he like a DJ?
Absolutely. Is.
That is such a cool... The fucking baser, Rakshasa.
No, he's good on his own. He's better if you can clone him with Volrath. Now you have 2 of them. What he does is he's 6/6 when it attacks. When it attacks, not deals damage, put target creature card from defending player's graveyard into play under your control.
I like it.
This is a cool ass thing to copy with Volrath, because you can play this, then copy it, swing with your Volrath that came out a turn or 2 earlier.
Yep.
You immediately get the benefit. Then the next turn you're swinging in with both of them, which is just gonna just harvest that graveyard.
I do like that.
And that is cool.
It gives you at 6 mana, remember, but it does give you some form of card advantage, right? That doesn't necessarily say draw a card on it, and I like that. There's creative ways to do that. That's kind of like what Profane Transfusion does to switch life totals and you get an XX equal to the difference. And rad fucking Phyrexian art, hey?
Yeah, very neat.
That is a neat looking card. You got any more in black? Vamp Tutor reprint, of course, and the
I wish that was rare. I really do. And that's a nitpicky thing.
That's a nitpicky thing. I know. Legends and Tevish Zat are going to be covered in the Legendary Creature Review and probably the YouTube content, because Tevish Zat ticks like fucking 3 boxes of the We Were Right category.
It sure does.
Okay, on to green. Anything of interest that people aren't necessarily all fucking talking about? Oh, God dang, you know?
I want to just... because I don't think anybody's got the guts to say this.
Okay, here it comes.
The internal fortitude to put this into a podcast. Do you know what bio waste is, Ryan?
Is that like when you...
Shit. So,
it's anything
shit
that comes
blob.
outside of your body that is garbage.
Probably through your butthole, which is shit. So, shit blob could probably go in this set because it's green, 2 oozes you control get +1/+1 at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control a commander, create a copy of it.
We do have another ooze in this deck, the monstrous one, right?
There's 2 of them. One of them splits itself to make more, and the other one makes it bigger. And if you could turn Volrath into this, that's another one. So now all of your copies are getting big. This actually goes in the deck, Ryan.
This does go in the deck, as does Slurk, all ingesting the other fucking oozy blob commander. We'll talk about him in a week or so.
You know what card actually does go in here? And
shit blob?
Besides shit blob. I knew you'd like that. And nobody else is going to say that, but we fucking do, because we're in CCO Nation. We get away doing whatever we want. What are they going to do? Take away our preview card?
Yep. Yes, they will.
And the card that I think goes in here really well, because it lets you play the big, splashy, high mana cost creatures way below curve, you can play Court of Bounty.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Apex Idiot.
No, fuck that card. Apex Idiot can eat my shit. Court of Bounty, on the other hand, can sit right next to Bio Waste Blob and be a great card. It's an enchantment for green 2. When it comes into play, you become the Monarch.
Yep.
That's very good because it draws you some more cards. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a land card from your hand into play, which is on its own is pretty good. But if you're the Monarch, you can also put, instead of a land, you can put a creature from your hand.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So you can put in a clone to clone your non-legendary anymore Volrath. You can put in something for Volrath to clone that you don't have mana for. It lets you free up your mana to play your 6 mana cost flash clone or your 10 mana cost super good counter spell, because the creature you were going to play on your turn is free now.
Yep.
So this goes in the deck really well. And since it's a deck based around attacking, you're going to be able to strip the Monarch off of somebody else to give it back to yourself, hopefully for a round of the table so that you get that benefit.
Yep.
So this is a good card in general, exceptionally good in this deck.
I like it. You know what? It's funny is in Legacy you could maybe get that out on like turn 2, and then on turn 3 you put Emrakul into play.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is that's slower than Show and Telling. So people are like, I don't know, I'll just play Show and Tell.
Yeah, it's not even that good.
Yeah, I'll just play Show and Tell and just fucking put an Emrakul or a Grizzlebrand onto the battlefield. And if it is Grizzlebrand, I'll just draw down to Emrakul. Or fill my hand up to kill everything that's in the way and just fucking beat you to death with the old hook and fucking hammer hand Grizzlebrand. Anyways.
Yeah, okay, moving on. Is there anything else in green that you think would go very well in this deck?
Gift of Paradise, but I think we're already playing it. That's a good-ass card. I play that card. I don't know, like, we're already playing lots of good green kind of Volrath target cards. Then I look at things like Hunter's Insight, where it's like whenever choose a creature you control when it deals combat damage to a player, we draw that many cards, right? We're going to be attacking with whatever Volrath transforms into, so that's a good one. The Gift of Paradise, we're already playing stuff like that. That's a good one. Magus of the Order. Sacrifice Magus of the Order, pay green, tap it, sacrifice another creature, search for a creature, put it onto the battlefield. Another way to maybe, this costs 5 all in and discard a creature card or sack a creature card to get whatever your best Volrath target is at the time. Maybe it's Okima, and then you find Khazar, so like you're replacing that green creature you sacrificed and you're replacing the Magus of the Order if you search for Okima and Khazar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's not
you
too
could
bad.
find ways to kind of make that as good as natural order.
I'm a fan of those order cards. Or not order, Magus cards. I like them.
Yeah, I like the throwback because it's nostalgic, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably why I like it.
Yeah, I think it is too, and that's like...
I don't care that they're functionally just way worse versions. Like Magus of the Bazaar is a piece of trash.
Yeah, that's fine, but sometimes you want a creature.
Yeah, sometimes
you want a
do.
creature that does some interesting or powerful effect, right? I wish, and again, this is a topic for the set review proper, I wish that we saw more nostalgic characters that were from like the Weatherlight Invasion story arc.
Yeah.
And we kind of didn't. We got some, but not a whole ton. Anything else in green? I find green is a little bit hit and miss, not only for this deck, but for Commander Legends in general, which is kind of contrary to what I said earlier, where we get it, like green's fucking good, stop printing good green cards. But we didn't talk about any of those awesome green cards.
Well, we're jumping over a bunch of the commanders in this, both because we're going to talk about them next week, and because you can't really... You can copy them with Volrath, but there's a bunch of hoops you got to jump through, and fuck that, we're not about hoops.
Well, I do love a good hoop, I won't lie.
You know, I found a hula hoop in my garage yesterday.
We're talking about different things.
Oh, okay, because it lights up and shit. And I don't know why I have it. I don't know where it came from.
Neat.
It was the damnedest thing.
So what do you think? Okay, you're looking through the artifacts, you're scrolling. We've done a quick look at white, blue, black, green. What do you think so far? Legends notwithstanding, artifacts, lands, spicy reprints, abilities notwithstanding. Are you liking some of the generic, these are commander cards? I know you said you're a little bit underwhelmed. Is that still true?
I think I'm still a little bit medium, but I've been getting a lot of flack for this, actually.
Oh, yeah?
By my mediumness on the set. But I don't want my mediumness to be taken as a down, because it's not. Because this set didn't blow up the format. It did inject a bunch of cards that are really cool and lots of fun. We talked about a bunch of them already, and we're going to talk about a ton of them next week. But I don't think that there are the power level of anything really blows my nuts off. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of cards, obviously, that's like, holy fuck, this is ridiculous. But, like, there's not a ton of them.
Yep.
And so...
Or they're costed at like 9 or 10 mana. 8 or 9 mana.
Yeah. And like what we used to say all the time, if you're going to pay 8 for something, it should win you the game.
Yeah.
And here we are. Now you got to pay 9 for something, and it might not even win you the game.
Yep. And that does a little bit force us to run more efficient, like, counterspells removal interaction, which is something that probably as casual players that you and I are, probably you and I and people like us need to do that anyways. So if all of a sudden this 9 mana win the game type card comes along and I just keep getting bent over to it, well, it's actually an easy fix. The card is just powerful. So I'm going to run something that is efficient to tempo them out. And while that does kind of keep Commander on the trajectory that it was on, is kind of transforming into a tempo-based format, I'm okay with that because that means that people are playing those big battle cruiser type spells.
Yes.
Which I think is fun.
I think it's more important that people are playing 9 and 10 mana spells as opposed to just playing 2 and 3
zero mana spells.
Interaction for those spells that don't exist anymore. They're just valuing each other out.
Yeah.
I'd much rather just tap 10 and get my shit countered than tap 2 and get my shit countered anyway.
Because at least I'm tapping 10.
Right? Because at least I have the opportunity to play the new Kamal. I like the new Kamal lots and lots. So we'll use him as an example. We'll talk about him later.
Yeah. I got one more. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Hit me with it.
But you're looking at it too for this deck, right? This is the last one we'll talk about.
Okay.
Stump Squall Hydra. Oh, baby. This is a 1/1 for green X. When it enters the battlefield, distribute X +1 counters among any number of commanders.
Among it and any other commanders.
Oh, sure.
Holy shit. If I had a Willbender, can I just steal everybody's shit with that? It doesn't say target on it.
I think Will Bender says it needs to target.
Oh, that sucks, because that would be so
We're distributing
good.
counters, but the key is we can then make Volrath a copy of those things without having to put a -1 counter on it. So not only is it political, it makes Volrath bigger. We can target Volrath and 3 other commanders if they're out, and then Volrath can become any one of those things.
Oh, I like that. That is
So
cool.
This is a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
That one is actually from the pre-cons. So we'll talk about whether or not we're going to pick up the pre-cons maybe next week as well. We're teasing next week a lot because that's the proper set review. And don't worry, anybody who's worried about red, we've got lots of red decks submitted by CCO Nation. We're going to be talking about them next week, over week, kind of like over tomorrow, but over week.
God damn it! Here we're back here again. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about that next week or next week.
Yeah.
After next week's set review. So hopefully you enjoyed what we talked about today. Big thank you to Sticky Batter for sending this deck into us. It's very, very cool. I really like it as a deck. I encourage y'all to check out the deck list. Again, link in the show notes below. Big thank you to FusionGamingOnline.com, where you can use special promo code CCOFusion5 to get all of your gaming needs met, and also let them know that their partnership with Commander Cookout Podcast is a good one, because we're awesome, you're awesome, and we're all just making the world a better place.
And I'm sure because this is a draftable, openable product, there will be a ton of Commander Legends singles available from Fusion, of which you can get 5% off with CCO Fusion 5 promo code once all the singles are available.
Oh shit, yeah, especially those prismatic pipers after I open all of them in my boxes.
And just mail them in for free.
And the price just tanks. You'll be able to pick yours up. They'll probably have my tears on them still.
Yes, they will.
So be sure to check that out and come back next week when you hear our thoughts on the rest of Commander Legends, the entire set, on the next episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!